All right, today we're diving deep. We're going way beyond the clean, polished, algorithm-driven feeds you're used to and into the internet's chaotic, totally unfiltered backrooms. We're going to explore tech-focused anonymous image boards. These are the places where the real, raw, no-holds-barred tech conversations are happening right now in 2026.
So let's just kick things off with a pretty provocative question, one that really gets to the heart of why these places even exist anymore. Is the internet too safe? Too sanitized? I mean, have you ever felt like your favorite online spots, your go-to forums, have just become these sterile, corporate-owned walled gardens? If you're nodding along, you are definitely not alone. That feeling is what's driving this huge shift in online culture.
And that leads us right to the core problem. There's this growing feeling that the mainstream internet, the one we scroll through every single day, is just a corporate shell of what it used to be. The places we once went for those niche, expert discussions now feel, well, kind of hollow, right? So what's actually causing this? Let's break down the big frustrations.
What's so wild here is just how stark the contrast is. I mean, look at this. On one side, you've got your typical corporate forums. Think Reddit, think Discord. They're defined by heavy-handed moderation, forcing you to have an identity, and tracking every single click you make. And on the other side, it's the complete opposite. You have ephemeral, unfiltered, account-free discussion on these anonymous boards. It is a total 100% rejection of the modern social media playbook, and that has a massive impact on the quality of conversations people can have. Okay, let's get specific about the pain points that are pushing people away. First up, forced logins. You can't just jump in and talk. No, you have to create a profile and feed the data machine. Then you've got shadow bans, where your posts just get invisibly buried and you don't even know what's happening. There's toxic positivity, you know the vibe, where any real harsh critique gets shut down for just shallow, you can do it, encouragement. And of course, the relentless data harvesting. The result of all this? You get low-tier tech advice, because all the real experts have already packed their bags and left for somewhere more authentic. So you might be wondering, how did we even get here? Well, this isn't some brand new thing that just popped up. It's actually a very deliberate return to the principles of the early, wilder internet. This whole culture has incredibly deep roots, and if you want to understand why it's so powerful today, you got to understand where it came from. And this timeline, it pretty much tells the whole story of that evolution. It all really kicks off with 4chan's launch back in 2003. Just a year later, its technology board, /G, is born, and it becomes this digital campfire for a certain kind of tech purist. You fast forward a decade to 2014, and boom, we see the first major splinter with Lainchan, a fork for an even more focused hardcore crowd. And all of that history brings us to today, 2026, which is really the era of decentralized boards, where the users themselves can build and control their own spaces. So what's the end result of that whole journey? It's what we're seeing right now, a conscious retreat. It's a deliberate move away from farming karma points and building up these polished, perfect online profiles. It's a return to something simple, temporary, and, well, brutally honest conversation. So what does this landscape actually look like today? It's not just one website. Think of it more like a scattered archipelago of different communities, and each one has its own specific vibe and focus. So let's take a quick tour of the key players in the 2026 tech underground. This little cheat sheet will give you the lay of the land. First up, you've got Lainchan. This is for the real tech purists. The vibe is super serious. We're talking deep dives on programming, privacy, even retro tech. Then there's Nchan, the decentralized hub. What that means is it's built on tech that lets users create and run their own boards completely independent from any central control. And finally, you have places like ZZChan, which are basically a dark web sandbox. This usually means it's only accessible through something like Tor, and it's a space for really high-level and sometimes pretty risky experiments with code and security concepts. Okay, so knowing where to go is one thing, but knowing how to act when you get there, that's a whole other ballgame. These communities have a really unique and, let's be honest, often unforgiving culture. So let's do a quick vibe check so you can understand the local customs. First things first, you absolutely have to understand green text. It's simple. By starting a line with the greater than symbol, the text turns green. But this simple little formatting trick has evolved into this incredibly powerful tool that's used for everything, from telling funny stories to writing out super detailed technical guides. It is, without a doubt, the fundamental language of these boards. Next up is the trip code. Now, this is a really crucial concept if you want to understand how reputation works here. A trip code is basically a cryptographic signature. It lets you prove you're the same Anon from an older post without ever creating an account. It is literally how you build credibility and trust in a place that has zero user profiles.
So, if you're actually thinking of jumping in, here's a super simple survival guide. Step 1, and this is completely non-negotiable, secure your connection. Use a VPN, or better yet, use Tor. Step 2, lurk. Seriously, just read. Spend time learning the culture, figuring out the inside jokes, and just getting a feel for the room. Only then, once you've done your homework, do you move to step 3. Ask your question, and make it clear and concise. Now, I know it's easy to look at these places and just dismiss them as chaotic or niche, but they serve a really vital function in the tech world. So why does this kind of raw, unfiltered anonymity still matter so much in 2026? Let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture.
This quote from a cybersecurity researcher, man, it just hits the nail on the head. In this world, anonymity isn't about hiding. It's a tool for brutal honesty. It allows for a level of unfiltered feedback and rapid-fire information sharing that just cannot happen on a corporate identity-linked platform where every single word is tied to your resume and your personal brand.
And this right here is the real-world application. This is where a developer can post their passion project and get a truly savage, honest code review that will genuinely make them a better coder, totally free from the empty platitudes you'd get in a corporate Slack channel. It's where a security analyst can share the first signs of a new cyber threat the second they spot it, without waiting weeks for clearance from a PR department. See, these aren't just forums. For a lot of professionals, they are indispensable tools for getting their jobs done.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought to chew on. As the rest of the internet gets more and more curated, more sanitized, and more controlled every day, you have to ask yourself, in 2026, is an unfiltered corner of the web a bug that needs to be fixed? Or is it a necessary, absolutely vital feature?